And then the fact that
crazy,
on top of all of that, you're with it.
God. We shouldn't say that part. We could have just like started the podcast. Yeah, on top of all of that. All right. Welcome.
Well, we said that it was going to be a very easy roll to the 10th episode of the Friendlyjordies podcast, and it turns out we were right. This was a particularly, shall I say, unsavoury beginning to the podcast of episode 10, and we won't be discussing it any further. Tom, what have we got on for today?
Well, we're back from our Easter break, and so there's been a bit of a delay in releasing this last one. We're all back and refreshed. Robbie, our sound man's been on a trip to Hawaii.
And Tom and I went to church, even though neither of us are religious in the slightest, so we're all relaxed now.
Yeah.
Because our souls have been cleansed and Robbie sat in the sun. So in a way, if we were a couple of thousand years ago and in South America, he would have had his soul cleansed as well. So we're all on the same spiritual page here, guys.
Yeah, we went to church.
When did you go to church?
On Easter Sunday, mate. What do you...
Yeah, it wasn't a passing fancy of ours that all of a sudden, in our 20s, having no religious experience in our entire life, to go, no, I think I'm just going to get my day off from work and go and do something incredibly boring.
Yeah. I did communion as well. And I'm not allowed.
I don't know how you got away with that either. Did you just go up there and go, no way, you give out free crackers? Is that...
Yeah. No, it was like... Yeah, then no one asks you. You're meant to be baptized, I'm pretty sure.
Where did you go?
So my mum, because I was about to go up, and because she has religious ideology still in her mind from when she was a kid, to the extent that she has not been Catholic for years, but every now and then she'll find herself buying religious paraphernalia like a cross or some holy water, and she'll be driving home and it'll suddenly click that she has that in her purse.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And she'll have the realization and think, what the hell? I'm not a religious woman anymore. It does not make any sense why I bought this. She will have that complete daze, kind of like when you're driving in a car for a few hours and then you get home and those last 2 hours are complete and utter blur. That's what happens to her when she buys that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
holy water is so extreme as well of a thing to purchase. Like, what's the functionality of holy water? Is there...
I should not know this, as I have no religious experience whatsoever. And so I'm just here to tell you, Tom, that I don't know.
Oh, well, good then. Yeah.
But apparently she stopped me from going up and receiving the cracker and the wine when my girlfriend trotted out and got the free damn booze. Yeah. And she said to me that if I went and got it, that my soul would automatically burn in hell. Apparently that's what happens in the Catholic faith. I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I kind of did it knowing that.
So why did you want to make it 100% certain that you're going to hell?
Yeah, I guess it's stupid, isn't it?
You could have winged it as... don't you think that you could always... Have you ever had that thought that you could go to God...
And just be like, hey man, I didn't know.
Exactly.
It's kind of like now though, me saying that I knew it, like I think, the thought could have crossed my mind at the time that I'd be like, oh, well, you know, if I was in that pearly gates or whatever, I could just be like, oh, I didn't know that communion meant to hell. Like, come on, lay off. But now, like, I'm admitting that I did know that I'd go to hell. So there you go.
There's nothing really much worse that you could do. Maybe just to be slightly more demonic, you could pull down your pants and wipe your bum on one of the pillar seats as you sat down. That's the only thing that you could have done to anger God more, and you just went one hair below that.
Why is he mad about it?
You are a truly horrible man.
It's not... Oh, man, don't get me started. So
we won't get you started, but we just do need to clarify this. Do you at all feel slightly scared now that your soul is beyond redemption at this point? That you are, in the eyes of God, as bad as Charles Manson because you took some of his wine?
Yeah, well, now you're saying it, like, it does feel a bit scary, the thought of it. But, like, no, I'm not. I'm pretty steadfast in that. It's not a problem to me. But yeah, I hate how that's a thing. Like I feel bad for the people I was with that did it who haven't been baptized because I didn't know it was not okay. So
yeah, that is a lot worse than... no, I do still find the feeling of how you are taking this quite unsettling, that when you die, your soul will be going straight down into the pit of the abyss, and you'll be looking down at there, manically laughing, going, "Bring on the lake of fire." That seems so much worse than someone screaming, "I didn't know, I didn't know." For all eternity, there is no redemption for you because you took a damn cracker.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyway,
sorry, that has nothing to do with this week's podcast, but we're basically here to say that, yeah, we just like the rest of you, experienced Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter, everyone. You were with 2, right, over Easter?
Yes, I was. For those who don't know who 2 is, no, my girlfriend is not the number 2 from Sesame Street in that delightful mascot uniform that sometimes walks around the streets. She is just from another country.
And you were with her family, right, for all of... Because they're like...
No, I'm not with her family.
Oh, you went away.
She's from another country. And she's heavily religious. They don't know I exist.
Oh, yeah.
She convinced us, this one person, this heretic from the Catholic Church, aka my mum, who despises the very institution, and me that basically doesn't go there for the same reason that Homer Simpson stopped going to it in season 4, I believe, when he just couldn't be bothered to get up on Sunday. Yeah. And she managed to drag both of those people and semi-redeem their souls. And unlike you, I'm not going to go to hell now. I'm pretty happy that I got that insurance out. That's what girlfriends are for.
So when did this thing happen with 2's sister? So this is our first segment of the day, by the way.
We're going straight into that, are we?
Yep.
Without any of the other introductions. I suppose we've been talking for 10 minutes now. The time for introductions has passed. If you don't know what you're listening to, well, that's your problem at this point. But stay tuned and keep listening, and we're very happy to have you here and all that. But at the same time, go listen to our other stuff if you want us to do introductions, because now we're in the thick of it with this delightful story of my girlfriend who has a sister. Don't know if I've ever told anybody that before, but the secret's out now. She said something, and if I can role play this, Tom, I would like to be the sister and for you to pretend that you are a 50-year-old Vietnamese man. Okay. See, because you like Vietnamese food, you've got some kind of background in this.
Yeah,
you sort of know what you're doing here.
All right. What's 2's sister's name?
You want me to lay it on like that? That's enough character analysis.
That's all I need, yeah.
The fact that you've had pho soup 3 times in your life, I think. You haven't had it much, but I remember taking you once and you're like, "Oh, is this Vietnamese? Nice." So,
yeah, that was the only, I've had every other food. Somehow Vietnamese just escaped my whole life. I'd never had it.
What's your review now, though? Would you give it a gold or a silver or a bronze medal?
Yeah, I love it. We've had it heaps lately, yeah.
So, no medal, but commendation.
Yeah, gold.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's gold's the best one.
All right,
well, so
what's up 2's sister? That's how we're starting this.
Okay, so obviously in this situation, because you've given her that name, the name of 2's sister is 2's sister. She is clearly, they've hedged all their bets on 2 winning in life, and the 2's sister is obviously the side act in that family, which is how she feels as a classic Malcolm in the Middle child. She said what I think is possibly one of the coldest things a child has ever said to their parents before, and I want to see what your reaction to this is, to just gauge where you are as a dad at this point, to how you can respond to this.
Okay.
So there's a lot of writing on this now that I think about it. And KJ, if you're listening to this really shows whether or not Tom is dad material or not. And so, just as a friendly suggestion, this is something where you should really hinge the rest of your relationship on how well Tom fares on this. And there is no pressure at all, obviously, but at the same time, let's make this serious. let's put a 2.5-year relationship on the line over the next couple of sentences.
Well, I can imagine how I should. Oh, I don't know. I don't even know what you're about to say. So,
all right. So, you have basically just forbidden me from leaving the house
Okay.
which is very odd to white people, but most Asians listening to this podcast who have parents that have come directly from Asia will relate to this, that even when you're 20 or 25, I've had friends when I lived in Korea for a year, that they would be in their late 20s and their mum would tell them to come home at 10 p.m. So there's a different world, guys.
Okay.
You know, who's to say which culture's right?
Why wasn't she
Ours
allowed
clearly
to
is,
leave?
come on, in your 20s, please.
Why was she not allowed to leave the house?
Oh, basically because she's Asian. That is really the reason that we're boiling it down to here, people. Let's call a spade a spade. This is the reason why she wasn't allowed to leave the house.
No, she must have done something.
No, this is how their culture works. Is just if you're, it's really like a very strictly enforced 1980s sitcom where the dad says, "My house, my rules."
Yep.
There's no leeway. At
So
this.
she was just like, I want to go visit my friend, Dad. And then he was like, no, you can't.
Basically, that's it. That's the end of it.
Sorry, we're Vietnamese in this house.
Yes. For the crime of being Asian, I hereby sentence you for staying in on a Saturday.
Oh.
That's basically why she was staying
So
there.
it's understandable why she was upset.
Yes, definitely. But at the same time, she said something that I think now at the moment you're kind of seeing where she's coming from. Don't you think this following sentence takes away any sympathy whatsoever you had for her in that period of time?
Yep.
And you feel like she should be grounded for life after saying this?
Let's hear it.
She says, "You better be nice to me, Dad. If you're not nice to me now, I'm not going to visit you when you're an old man, ever." Your response, Tom?
It doesn't seem that bad to me. That seems like really standard child anger. Like, you're... Why are you so shocked by
that's
that?
that's why it's an easy pod, guys. That's the theme of episode 10, and that's what it is. That was a 10 out of 10 response from Tom.
I thought you were
I
going to
don't think
say,
it's
like...
that bad.
I thought
And now that
yeah.
you're saying that, and I've just looked at this situation, it is a lot like showing someone a YouTube clip that you think is hilarious, and then the other person there is trying to make you feel good about the situation, but it's clearly not.
I thought you were going to say something like, you better be nice to me, Dad, or like, I'm going to kill you. Like something like really like harsh. That's
But
not
that's
that bad.
sinister. Don't you think that what she said is ice cold? Don't you think? I'm never going to see you again. I will be at your
What did he
funeral,
say to
but
that?
as an old man in your twilight years, you're not going to see the daughter that you raised.
Yeah,
for
it's
30
mean.
years. For the last 30 years of for a whole third, I'm not going to see you, period, or have any contact with you because you didn't let me go out tonight.
Did he fold and was like, all right, have a good night?
No, because he's not used to white people's kind of talking back. You know how in Asian culture you just do not do that?
Yeah.
But us, we're really used to... I think that's why it's not shocking to us at all, is because... look, I've lost count. I'm going to say it. I've lost count of the times that I've said you to my parents. It's probably more than I've said hi to them or thank you. But to them, saying even that... He was speechless. He had nothing to say. His mouth just dropped, and that was his response. That was his response to that situation.
And did she storm
your
out?
response is to just go, yeah, I can live with that.
Yeah. Did I pass the test, or is that...
I don't know. KJ's the judge, and she's not here. But to me, yeah, I'll give you a partial credit. D
Yeah,
minus.
we can have kids, yeah.
You've just
very
slipped
good.
by. You are just good enough to be a parent. Good work, Tom.
Man, yeah, I guess that is pretty mean thing to say. But I really feel like that is just a very standard response that you would hear from a child that is angry. Like, I feel like...
Yeah, it probably is. And under painful re-examination of that, I totally agree 100%. It's not that ice cold. But here's what we want you to do, loyal pod listeners, family. We'd like you, if you have a story of you being colder than Gucci Mane to anyone. Doesn't necessarily have to be your parents. Could be your girlfriend. Could be anyone. Is a huge category of people. That is, and in other words, if you don't really understand that, allow me to use the synonym, everyone.
Yeah. So the coldest thing you've ever said to someone.
But the gauge of how cold it is can you a la the rapper Gucci Mane, who, if nobody's heard of him, and I'm sure everybody who is listening to this podcast has, because they're probably all hipsters, and for some reason, this one Dirty South rapper called Gucci Mane is really popular amongst them. I have no idea why, because he sounds exactly the same as all the other Dirty South rappers, but for some reason, this guy stick. Maybe because they all secretly want to wear Gucci bags, but they just don't feel like they've earned the right to do it. And you haven't. Go back to your damn op shop.
Like
You'll never find one there, you hear me?
What's he famous for? What's his...
I don't know. The only thing that I know him is a feat in another song of this rapper that nobody would have ever heard of. He is not famous at all to me in my mind, apart from the fact that it obsesses me that hipsters find him somehow an idol.
Do you know him, Robbie?
Someone to look up to. This man that... I do know this one story about him. This returning veteran from 2 Iraqi campaigns came up. It was his birthday. It was the veteran's birthday. Sees Gucci Mane in the club. Says, "Hey man, I'm a big fan. Can I get an autograph?" Gucci Mane then takes a bottle of whiskey off of the desk and slams it over the guy's head, and now he's in jail for that. He brutally bashed a returning veteran who was a fan of his. He is scum, but hipsters think that he's amazing, and I'm pretty sure it's because he has a tattoo on his right cheek of an ice cream. And the reason,
I know him. Yeah.
You know why he's got that?
Why?
Because I'm so cold, ice cream don't melt on my face.
Is that actually why?
Yep, that's the reason. That's your boy Gucci. This is that cold. So if you think you've said something as cold as that...
Yeah, you as cold as Gucci Mane.
Yes, can you refrigerate ice cream with your words is the mark that we're looking for. So it's a very poetic bar to meet. So take it as you will.
Yeah.
Damn beatniks.
So now we're going to move on to a comment that we received this week on Twitter from
Lovely. Thank God for that. I'm so glad we're out of that segment now, because that was... Damn, that died. that was a real slow death, that one.
That segment.
Yeah, that was really that was the verbal version of drowning going through that. It's just seeing your face in slow motion and me losing air and thought very quickly, my mind panicking, searching desperately for something else to talk about, because it was just not what I was expecting.
I thought it was all right.
Oh, good. Yeah, all right. Well, yeah, me too, man. Me too.
Well, this one will be better. This is from... yeah, good start.
We're not even noobs anymore.
This is inexcusable.
10 hours of talking.
So do you want to introduce it? You received the tweet.
All right, I'll introduce it. Well, I don't really know how... Because this is huge, and I don't really know the best way to really... cluster this into the minds of listeners here, that we have a celebrity listening to our podcast, our little old startup that we have on these relaxed couches with fantastic microphones supplied by Sure. Must be made in the Ukraine. Good country. So it's real state-of-the-art stuff. There is somebody with almost 100,000 Twitter followers listening to this podcast right now, and I think you know who you are. You probably knew already, because he is a mentalist, aka a wizard that can read minds. You before we could even got to that point. Matt Tarrant, a South Australian wizard, certified. That actually is his job. He is a magician, which is a common muddied word for the ancient and noble profession of being a magic man. This guy listens to this pod and is jealous of Tom because we have discovered that Tom is a wizard. Well, now the beef is on.
Yeah, Matt, you honestly have nothing
States
to worry
versus
about.
the dirty South. Who will win?
So Jordan's made me prepare a magic trick today.
Because we are about to have a good old-fashioned and
showdown.
Yeah, that's what it is. There has not been an older profession, and I really think that is probably not even accurate, that prostitution is the oldest profession in the world. Don't you think that somebody would have thought up the idea to convince somebody else that they're magic before offering to have sex with them? Now that I think about it, definitely
Probably
not. But
not.
it's still a very, very old profession. And we are about to see sparks fly here in the studio today, folks. We're going to have a good old rapper beef, but get rid of the magic of rhyming with actual magic, which is obviously way better. Because Tom the Wizard, the champion, the Gandalf, the real life Gandalf of the world. And I don't think that that's an undersell. I really think that that's about where he is, definitely. I mean, it's probably not as good as Dumbledore. Dumbledore could obviously do a lot better things than quickly blinding orcs for a brief moment.
That was always a big disappointment that he never did anything that amazing, really, did he?
No, he made cooler than smoke rings, smoke objects, but not that much cooler because a smoke ring is really good, and after that, there's not much more wow factor that you can handle,
amazing,
is there?
I take it
back. Yeah, Making a Dragon's all right, but look, anyway, the point is that Tom is as good as that. So
I prepared a magic trick.
You can listen to this. Robbie, would you like to record this? Because we are actually challenging Matt Tarrant to prove that he's a better wizard than Tom, and I sincerely doubt he is, having seen numerous YouTube clips of him now, and I was amazed that he was able to turn a bottle of water upside down and pierce the hole, the lid at the top, and nothing happened. That's pretty cool. But Tom has a 20-cent coin in his hand, ladies and gentlemen.
And about 10 minutes practice. So am I doing this to the camera or you? Because it depends on the angle that I'm at.
Oh, it does?
If that
You better
spoils
do it straight to the camera, because just remember that's that smug South Australian wizard's face looking straight into the camera there. I down your dirty Sauron enemy. He is a dark wizard, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Tarrant is a dark wizard for no reason whatsoever. And for no reason, again, Tom, for I don't know why, is the good one.
That's right.
20 cents. He's got, I don't know, it seems like
Matt,
a nice
if you
amount
can
of
work
money.
out how I'm doing this, then does he win? Or does he have to respond?
No, he has to respond and do something better than what you do with this 20-cent coin, which I'm sure is going to be fabulous, Tom. I've got a lot of faith in you, because I definitely know that you're a magic human being. And it doesn't matter if you fail this, you're still a wizard in my eyes, Tom.
All right. Okay, you ready? So Robbie, I guess, is filming this so he can tell us if it worked or not, because it's like a 50% chance that it will not.
I like those
Here we go.
odds.
You ready?
It is a coin flip of a chance, if you will.
All right, so we've got a coin here. Can you see it, Robbie? Yeah. All right, so I've got the coin here, and I throw it to Jordan, and it's gone. Huh?
How did that happen? How did that happen, ladies and gentlemen? There's only one word to describe it. It's back! Magic! Magic in the studio! Take that, Matt Tarrant, you dark wizard. You don't have the monopoly on it anymore. Tom is the up-and-coming champion. He is your... Whoever is up and coming in the sporting world, don't watch sport at all, but he's that guy. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, him. Did that
Tom is
actually work,
Kobe,
Robbie?
you LeBron, you old Matt. You're an old wizard. Give damn your damn staff and your hilarious pointy hat to the new reigning champ. Matt Tarrant doesn't even have a beard.
Yeah, that's important, isn't it? Did it work? Did you see it? Did it?
Yeah, well, I moved the camera to Jordan.
Well, that's okay. The reveal's not as important. Maybe it should have been. All right, stop recording. But yeah, good luck, Matt. I think you'll need it, mate.
See?
For anyone that isn't actually going to watch the video, I just well, you say what you saw. I don't want to spoil the trick. What happened? I'll do it again.
A shocking turn of events. Tom picks up a 20-cent coin. Magic enough in my eyes. How did he do it? Where did he summon the strength to do that from? I don't think any PE teacher can explain that to me with all of their super flex terms and all their science hocus pocus mumbo jumbo. It was clearly magic from the get-go.
Yeah, where did it come from?
Now, it gets even more magic than that. Tom puts the 20-cent coin in his hand, throws it away as if it's about to hit me. He's directing the coin at me, and yet nothing hits my face. Where did the coin go? That's the magic of it, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody knows except for Tom. And maybe Tom doesn't even know either because it's kind of just like, do you know how you breathe? Maybe you remember the year 7 video that you watched, but I only remember watching it. I don't remember how to explain it.
It just happens. Yeah, you just don't know how it works.
How do you blink? You don't know that.
And no one will see it either because the camera wasn't filming me for the reveal. But the 20-cent coin did come back, and it was...
I think it did.
It did? Okay, cool. All right, good.
Look at the smugness of Matt Tarrant. Listen to this comment where he says, "Can you please stop Tom from stealing all my works with his magic emporium? It's bullshit." Well, I think we've proved right now, ladies and gentlemen, that the $200 an hour that we were asking for Tom's wizardry skills is a discount. That is a listener discount.
I'll teach you how to do it. All right.
You heard the man. $200 to learn how to do that. Where did you learn that from anyway? Was it from a book or was it from the net?
It was from a magic book. It's so simple.
And it had cartoons on the front of it as well as a crudely drawn
like,
rabbit out of a hat.
Hold your hand in this certain way and then pull your hand out in this certain way and then it'll look as though the coin has disappeared.
You got to love that feel, don't you? Looking at those and thinking that you'll be able to get your friends to gasp is the real motivation there. I can't believe that you were able to do that you were able to coordinate your mind to go through the motivation of that.
Yeah, I don't know why I was so keen on it. It was like there was a good few months of my life that I was like really into like little coin tricks and things. And
it really explains your personality a lot, though. It does. It's just you're a champion. Tom is a champion 10-year-old. He's just amazing at anything a 10-year-old would probably, if you told him, I will give you the same skill as Tom has in Mario Kart 64. If you kill my worst enemy, they would do it.
Yeah,
Sinister
it's not a
little
great
bastards,
year
aren't
to
you?
master, though, is it? Like, I'd much rather be better at everything that a 25-year-old is at, or something like that, over the 10-year-old skills. That's my skill set. I'm really good at ping pong. Not even that good at ping pong, really, but and Mario Kart.
Chess, checkers, anything that starts with a ch. Naming Chechnyan towns.
Yeah.
Cholf,
putt,
as
cholf,
Tom refers to it as, just to keep up with the CH thing. Eating cheesels and going to church, as we found out today.
Yeah,
it's
true.
the 5 ch's of 10-year-old doom.
Going to chill.
So, yeah, basically, in summary, Matt Tarrant, we agree that you are a wizard. We've seen your magic acts, and we can't explain them, so it clearly is magic as well. But are you a master wizard? Are you a master wizard?
Yeah, that's what we're after.
Yes. Reveal your damn magic to us. Stop pointing it in front of the camera, much unlike Tom did, and showing it to a mass audience, which we're doing exactly the same thing as that. But sort of directed to us just for the publicity of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's our very, very concrete challenge to you.
Yeah. So speaking of our huge audience, we're about to spruik our favourite sponsor to them, which is Lonely Kids Club. So they deliver shirts to us for free. They don't know that we... Do they know, actually? They know that we have been...
Yes, and they know because one of our listeners... who is a trader. We have a mole amongst us, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have the name of this person, please send it in to us so we can rat them out. Rat out the mole. This
Who is it?
double rodent. Get him. Or her. We don't even know that. All we know is this Guess Who-like figure sent a message to the head of Lonely Kids Club, and it said that, did you know that Friendlyjordies is advertising your product on his podcast? Can you please not tell him, though? I don't want him to stop. They wanted us to keep advertising for some reason, but at the same time told on us. So they do know, but they know for a really sinister way. Yeah. They didn't know due to laziness, and now they know due to sinister behaviour. There is nothing pure about this sponsorship, and that's why we're really happy to continue it exactly as it is.
So last week we were very close to ending it because Robbie is admitted without warning us that he's bored of the book and that he wants to move on to something better.
And then rescinded after we had a lengthy discussion on the pod. On air, we could have very easily talked about this and gone to a break and come back. But we decided to have the discussion with everybody out there, so we're all on the same page, if you will, as we're talking about books, that Robbie is no longer bored of the book, as is nobody.
Everyone overwhelmingly really wanted to continue the book. Not one person thought it was a good idea to finish, so nobody seems to be bored with it.
Not even Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie's not bored with it.
No one is bored of this.
The suggestion came up for like a very brief moment.
What the hell was that?
He's bored again.
It was such an oddity of history, wasn't it? It's really up there with those planes disappearing over the Bermuda Triangle. Where did that sentence come from?
Yeah. What made you bored, Robbie? Why were you suddenly bored about it? How was it boring? We died in the last one.
Just stopped caring.
But what's even more baffling to me is how did the flame of passion ignite so quickly afterwards as well?
And then you abandoned it in a second. You're like...
I don't know. I was excited by the idea of a. I wasn't that scared. I wasn't that scared, and also, I don't know. I was excited by the prospect of another book. Yeah, by R.L. Stein, to see if I was actually going to be scared, because the show did scare me. So
maybe we went into the past. Like there was a comment saying that the past was much more exciting. So maybe we made a mistake very early on.
Oh, I remember that comment. Somebody encouraged us with insider knowledge, much more knowledge than any of us collectively even have of this book. We're all in the same field here, but there is this one expert, techspert, if you will, as he addressed us online, that... How does he figure out Twitter? I honestly don't know that either. He knows two things I don't know. I'm very jealous of this man, especially afterwards how he said, I encourage you to continue, and then at the end called us, I think the word was plebeians.
So
He really won a lot of friends. It wasn't a nice
comment. It was like you guys suck at Goosebumps. Yeah, you plebs.
Yeah, that's right. He was bragging that he got
past.
much further than us before dying, and then called us peasants for doing so. And on that very mean cyberbully's advice, we have decided to, out of being bullied into doing this, continue the book. None of your votes counted at all. It is basically him giving us an online wedgie that has made this happen.
Yeah. So everyone that doesn't know, because we never explain things that are recurring, it's... that every week we read a segment from, Robbie reads a segment from R.L. Stein's Goosebumps, and it's one of you choose, all of them were choose the scare adventure stories, and then you guys vote on our Facebook comment section to which decision we want to make, and then collectively we go on an adventure into the book.
Yeah, so last time we were in a speeding truck, and we chose to steer the wheel. Which ended up in us crashing into a brick wall at the end. And so now we're going to try the other option because the vote was to continue, which is to go for the brakes.
Yeah. Okay. And I think there was a comment telling us that if we were to die in the future, that we just had to go on and do the other option straight away. And do we do that? We've talked about this so many times.
I'm very firm that if we finish again, it's over.
You don't want to do it again. You're just
and changing on a dime once again. Robbie proves his nickname, Dime Piece Dobby. Just for the alliteration, we've changed his name to suit the nickname better.
All right, Robbie, let's hear where we're at. So we've gone for the brakes. We're hurtling on a truck towards our family. We've gone in the past to get in this truck. We saw our family getting killed or something, so we had to go back in time to try and save them. We're hitting the brakes.
You've got to hit the brakes. The truck is speeding along even faster than before. You try to reach the brake pedal with your foot, but you can't reach. With horror, you watch as your family steps into the intersection. You dive down to the floor of the truck. Using both hands, you push on the brake pedal as hard as you can. Screech! Will it stop?
Oh my God, what a sizzle. So much of a sizzle that I feel I am obliged to advertise Sizzlers for absolutely free on the podcast right now. And in the interim, while he's turning the page, say, sounds like Sizzler, and that sounds good.
The squealing of brakes fills the air. The truck lurches to a stop right before your family. Crash! A taxi cab slams into the back of the truck. Horns blare, and several drivers jump from their cars as a horrible stench fills the air. What's going on? You leap out of the truck and run around to the back. Luckily, the driver of the taxi is fine, but the truck's back doors have been smashed in, and now a river of dead, slippery fish is flowing out of the back, onto the taxi cab's hood, and into the street. P.U. You grab the chronometer and push down on the buttons. You're sorry about leaving Denny behind in the future, but as he always says, you're not the boss of him. The end.
What?
Wait, did we finish?
Did we?
The end.
So we lost again, I think.
Did we die? Or
Why
did
did
we
he press
not die?
it? Did he press it because of the fish?
Yeah, this fish stunk up a storm.
Oh my god, what the hell was that? That wasn't
That's
an
it.
ending.
God, R.L. Stein, you've done it again. Next book, please.
What? I don't understand it. The fish stank, so he just forgot about his family and had to get out of there.
R.L. Stein, you've done it again.
Did he avoid
Book
the
two.
family? Yeah, book 2.
No way! Is this the end?
So
Is this how R.L.
we
Stein's
got stuck down a rabbit
TikTok
hole.
Your Dead finishes with stinky fish. That was the reason why the book finished, because it stank heaps.
Yeah.
That is kind of spooky to a really upper market gold digger of a woman that hates being dirty.
I don't understand what we do from that.
That's a really
That's
bad
definitely his
ending.
demographic as well, isn't it?
What gold digger
Just
women?
someone who lives in a penthouse is obviously the person who buys a £5.95 book. Why was it always in pounds? Why did they always give us the pounds version? We haven't had that since the 60s. They should have at least given us the American dollar one, because that is our currency. But they always put it over to us because I think that they might have just had the Commonwealth Games televised there at 2 a.m. in the morning and thought, yeah, it's part of the Commonwealth. It just wins a lot of gold medals there. They know what pounds are. Well, we do know what pounds are, but we'd appreciate that you at least looked at the net, which didn't exist back then. So I suppose you've got no reason to do that. That's fine. Go Goosebumps.
What are we doing though? Is it a like, do we go back or do we? Because there's no path to go down now.
No, that's it. As I said, I mean,
We're done.
congrats, we finished it. Yeah.
I don't think we can. No, I reckon we go back to the past.
Back to the partner.
Does that mean that every single segment so far has had a
Led to-
real just abrupt sizzle?
This has led to
kind
dead
of a
end.
simmer out, yeah.
Both options were death, right? Was there any other? He didn't die. He just went back.
Just went back, yeah. But this is a nice look. We're on episode 10, double digits. It's nice to get a fresh leaf, right? Turn the page, turn the book.
Yeah, maybe.
Very unsatisfying. Maybe that's what he's trying to do, is like scare us with the idea that things don't always finish right.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
You
Well,
know? Things sometimes
Yeah.
stuff is just like that.
I'm like
Scare us out of reading, because sometimes it's just kind of shitty.
So should
done,
all right. I guess
R.L.
the
Stein.
vote is then: are we going to the past, which is like several steps backwards, or are we going to start the new book, which had the bat on the front?
I think the answer is very obvious, and because it's so obvious, I'm not going to say it, because we have a terrible tradition here on the pod of every time we want something to happen, the audience, for no reason that it doesn't even benefit them to do it at
of
all.
hate,
We
yeah.
are trying to be on your side, but you are just like a magnet. You really want to push away from us, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't understand why you're misbehaving so much.
Yeah.
Are you? Why?
Just go
does
with
everyone
us
just
for once.
read this? Does everyone listen to this pod just before they go to sleep, and so they're grumpy?
Just to mess with us. No one.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah,
enjoys it.
it's more evil than that, isn't it? It's not because they're just toddlers. That's not our demographic at all. These people have meticulously thought this out and gone, no, I want a segment to be really boring. Yeah,
They want to go to the past.
and
do
I
they?
want to
All right.
listen to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So the
All right.
choice is yours, but seriously, come on.
So comment in
Option
Facebook.
1, just to try and push you guys in the right direction, somehow
past,
use
yeah.
some really very transparent reverse psychology, as I just told everyone what I'm trying to do.
All right. So now, Jordan last week told we had a history lesson basically, where me and Robbie learned something new about Rome, and it was really good. It was...
Thank you.
Yeah, it was the best thing we've ever done, for sure. Like, I was captivated. We're both captivated.
Were you spellbound, or are you too used to that being a wizard? It's just not a real feeling for you anymore. Nothing real world does that to you.
Yeah, I don't feel anything, but last week I did, and yeah, it was awesome. So this week again, Jordan will be giving us a history lesson on something amazing about Rome.
As it will be every single podcast. We're never changing civilizations ever. That's the only thing I know about. For some bizarre reason, I was autistic for 2 years of my life and then grew out of it. I was just very obsessed with this one period, this one culture, knew everything about it. And as soon as I got to the part where the society collapsed, I thought, all right, that's enough history for me. Time to waste my life playing Pokemon on Game Boy.
So what's today's
Robbie,
lesson?
Cue that medieval music you used in the last podcast that is completely out of the time frame. And if you gave that to a Roman at the time, they would probably be just as scared of it as if you showed them dubstep music now. It is actually probably the same period of time. That music was from the 1300s. Rome collapsed, I think, in 476 AD. So it is about the same period of time as is dubstep from that music. It is the interim between
whatever
Roman
we'll be
civilization
listening to in
and
1,000 years. That's what we were given.
That's what it's like listening to now.
I thought it kind of did suit it though.
Yeah, so did I.
What would you give? What is
Definitely.
Roman music?
I'd probably use Rome Total War music and just cop the copyright fine.
Total War.
Basically for that, I would just use Rome Total War music because of that voice that they used. Not even in Rome Total War, it was in medieval Total War, but everybody thinks that it has that same voice purely because it's the same saga of that guy that comes on at the beginning and says, "This is an age of darkness." I love that guy has been grouped in with anything that has Total War at the end of it.
I love that voice.
How great is it?
Total War.
I'll even start this history. And Robbie is laughing just as much as us because that voice is as ridiculous as it is epic at the same. I love it when something gets that twang right. Boom!
Yeah.
Straight into your eardrums every time. Even your eardrums start to snicker. You can hear it going.
Because war is heavy enough, but like Total War is like it's all there is just war. Anyway, yeah.
All right,
so
I will start the first paragraph in that voice.
Okay.
270 AD. The empire is fraught with barbarians and impostors to the east and the north. The Gallic Empire has arose from the Roman Empire, as it obviously would have.
Okay.
And it did that. All right, that's enough. I told myself, I gave myself an accent timeout. All right, so it is 270 AD. This was the first Roman crisis, and my God, when we say that there's tough economic times now, we are pussies. Think about this happening to your currency, that it's been so debased that it's not even, it used to be made out of pure silver, then they realized that they could just restart using less and less silver in it and just give it a silver coating over the top. So money was pretty much not worth anything at all. Barbarians started getting really, really barbaric, I suppose the best word is to describe them, as they started pouring over the north constantly. A Roman emperor at this point was no longer just a little bean counter that sat on a throne in Rome anymore and had affairs and killed people that he didn't like. Though he still kept up the last part and did way more of that. But he now had to do it on the battlefront of the Rhine. It was always fighting some oncoming army that was coming from the Germanic states. So it was always on that borderline of Gaul and Germany. But at this point, at the same time, two imposter empires emerged in the east and in the north. So the Gallic Empire engulfed France and Britain. They just declared themselves their own state. And then they started having really, really brutal civil wars in between themselves, and there was constant usurping throughout there. That was even more savage than what was happening in the actual empire. And to the east, there was the Palmyrian Empire, I think it was. And they were, fair enough, they should be called an empire. They were 8 nations that are today. So it was countries like Syria, Jordan, Turkey, Israel, all of that area had declared its own state because the Persians started attacking from the east. There was no real threat on the eastern borders for hundreds and hundreds of years. And then all of a sudden, the Middle Eastern tribes started to emerge and take back their former glory of the days that you'd probably remember from 300 that was grossly unhistorical, but at the same time, that's all I can remember about it now. Even studying it in year 11 and 12.
You can only use that as a reference.
Yes, all I can remember is a filthy hunchback.
Yeah.
Betraying heaps of dudes with six-packs, which is probably the most historically accurate thing of the whole movie. I'm pretty sure they had six-packs.
So what... so they were coming from the east and they were coming from the west. Is that what you're saying?
And at the same time, the Almanians had broken through the defenses on the Rhine. The Rhine was always the most fortified area of Rome.
Where was the Rhine?
The Rhine was between Germany and France, and Rome had tried to take Germany several times, but they were too barbaric. They were the Afghanistan of Europe. They were just these warlike tribes that you could not civilize them. So they just set up a bunch of forts along the Rhine, and they'd always have huge swarms of barbarians coming over the front, pillaging, and then going back into the Rhine. But this time, the Alemannians came in and decided to stay. So the Roman emperor at the time went up to meet them, and I think he died a natural death. And the Roman Empire was in absolute turmoil. It was everywhere, on every single front, except for on Spain, something really serious to the military might and the very fabric of social essence that was Rome was emerging and bubbling at the same point. It was the first crisis. It was the 3rd century crisis.
Enter Emperor Aurelian.
He was an incredible man. To give you a real quick synopsis of this guy, think of this. This is basically how he's described in the history books. It's such a good startup. It's the very beginning scene to a movie is the thought that
never did he let a day pass without sharpening his sword and practicing for hours into the night.
Oh, wow.
How awesome is that was the guy that took the throne, this guy that was that disciplined every single day sword fighting, thinking of military tactics, this cavalry extraordinaire. He was a cavalry general. He took over the throne by dumb luck. I think at the same time his heir in Rome had died. It was just really, really lucky that Aurelian had somehow ascended to the throne. He drives back the Alemannians with ease, which the other emperor couldn't do. He was one of those fat, tough... he wasn't a general at all. He didn't have any military experience. He won one battle at the beginning of his emperorship, but that was not really to him. That was again to Aurelian. What was an amazing victory, though, was that Queen Zenobia in the east, who was the head of the Palmyrian Empire, she took Egypt. If you take Egypt in the Roman Empire, that is really bad news because that's where all of their grain came from. She cut off their grain supply, so there was riots in Rome continuously. Aurelian entered Rome while this huge unrest was happening and all public buildings were being burnt. People were getting murdered on the streets. It was total anarchy. How noble is this? He walks in, sees that everybody's starving, looks at a kid and then says to his soldier, give him your bread. And he's like, but it's my bread. And then he just puts a sword at him and says, give him your bread. He demands that the army give out all of their food supplies to the people, but it's not enough because he had an army of, 20,000 people and there was 1 million in Rome. So that didn't work. So in the end, he did what every other Roman emperor would do in that situation. He started slashing down civilians in the troops. Just mowed them
the
down
opposite
with his
of
soldiers.
what the story was.
Yeah. He was really the just arch paragon of the phrase tough but fair. So he did that, realized that he needed to take down Zenobia in the east, marched his troops over to Persia. she talked really tough, sending her all these letters saying, I am Zenobia the Great. I will not surrender. I will fight to the last man and I will die fighting. Really trying to make herself sound like she was... She prided herself on being Cleopatra, but she was kind of just like... she was really just Zoe 101 to Britney Spears, just a nothing, really. She
took Egypt, though,
wasn't hot, wasn't smart.
But taking Egypt would be quite difficult, though, wouldn't it?
Not in that time, because all soldiers had been diverted into crisis management. So any soldiers that were in profitable, stable areas just really were reserves. And she had very battle-hardened, completely used to fighting really Middle Eastern wars because they started to really attack the Persians and had to keep defense of themselves. And that's why they broke away from Rome originally, and I can sympathize with that. Rome wasn't helping them at all, and expecting them to defend and pay 40% tax to them. No, I'd rebel.
So what happened?
So basically she goes, marches all of her troops out. They have a war. The war is basically just pathetic shambles because Emperor Aurelian is an incredible general, and he came up with this new military tactic, which was excellent, where you draw in their heavy infantry by offering them your light cavalry, and they think that, heavy cavalry, not heavy infantry, heavy cavalry, by offering it to them, and then they think that that's going to be an easy kill, that they can go in and take all the light cavalry. Then, because they're light, he retreats them, gets their heavy cavalry to start chasing them, and then turns around when they're really tired and just mows them down entirely. And that was his rope-a-dope strategy. That was his trademark signature war. It was his blitzkrieg.
That's a really cool idea.
It was
simple.
Yeah. And it was very effective because, obviously, as a cavalryman, most of his army was cavalry at this point. He really loved the horse. Zenobia does not fight to the last man. She's a real Saddam Hussein. She's just one of those people that's like, get out there and fight, man, period gods. And then as soon as it starts turning south, she goes, and runs away. tries to retreat over to Persia. Doesn't work. There's a great story of her seeing soldiers coming in the distance, Aurelian's light cavalry chasing after her. So she starts offering boat people granting them access across the river, huge amounts of gold, and they see the horses coming as well. So they say, no, we're not touching that. And so she demands at sword point, that one of them take her across the river. And right at that point, she hears Emperor Aurelian saying, put down your sword, Zenobia. It's over now. She's dragged to Rome as a prisoner of war. He goes up to Britain, does the same thing to Tetricus, and at this point, Robbie, I would like you to do a little historical reenactment, just like those Civil War sad 50-year-olds that are in, I don't know, Georgia, for instance, and then they just reenact a battle there. Basically, you're going to be Aurelian. So get on your mighty swivel chair from IKEA, you emperor of the known world.
All right, Robbie.
With something that is European but is not part of the Roman Empire at all. It was way too north for that. But basically, Robbie, I want you to be Emperor Aurelian, and Tom and I are going to beg for our lives. He'll be Emperor Tetricus, the imposter in the north, and I'll be Queen Zenobia. And Tom will be wearing the wig to dress as a woman, just to confuse you so you don't know which one's which. That's part of it. See, you're confused already. It works. And basically, what we're going to do is we're going to beg for our lives, and we're going to see if you have the same insight and wise rule of the crown of Aurelian, and see if you're going to choose the same person to keep alive that.
Wait, explain it. Sorry.
Explain one more time.
Basically, Tom and I are going to beg for our lives to the
Emperor of Rome.
Yeah.
Robbie.
And who are you again? Who are both of you?
And who
just
are we?
quickly.
I'm Queen Zenobia, and the one in the woman's wig is Emperor Tetricus, the mighty warrior from the north.
Okay.
And only one of us can live, or
only one of us lives.
And historically, he did choose one
of
to
us
live.
to live. And we both came up with reasons as to why we should leave, and he thought that one of them was pathetic, and he thought that the other one was real. And Tom does not know what that reason is, so he's just going to make up his own reason, and I'm not going to use the historical reason either because I just think it's boring.
So, okay.
All right.
Okay, go.
So,
Pressure's on, Robbie, you king of the known world.
as king of the known world, Emperor, I need to hear from you now reasons as to why I should keep you alive. Otherwise, you will be executed right now.
Please, no.
Better tell me right now.
Tetricus, you can have the floor. I'll give you the first rate of this. Gentlemen first, as is the ancient world's custom. I don't know where ladies first came from. It was probably from there as well. There's nothing to do with that. But yeah, Robbie, sorry about that, Emperor Robbie. I'm just blabbering here because I'm so nervous.
You're not looking good for you there. I didn't like that.
Let me live, and I'll give you all. We'll pay all the tax and let you. Let me live.
Yes.
Yes, you
I have
put forward a
a
good
beautiful offer there, but I'll have to hear the other one before I make my decision, please.
It wasn't my fault. It was my generals and my diplomats' fault. Kill them. Let me live because I'm kind of hot.
Please.
You had your chance. There's no rebuttal.
Wait,
Okay,
did
who do you choose?
Wait, did you say you're kind
Hold
of hot?
me, Emperor Tetricus. I'm scared. You big hunk of man.
Wait,
Wearing a woman's wig.
did you say you're kind of
Pantomime
hot?
was big.
Did you say you're kind of hot?
Yeah, sure, why not? I wouldn't rate me from the statues, but if it floats your boat, whatever. I'm exotic. Ooh.
Right. Look, I think we're gonna have to go with that one.
Yes, damn it. Yes.
Taxes.
The confusion tactic works. Zenobia wins. Sucked in Emperor of the
I chose the Empress. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Well, now it's time to
There we
reveal
go.
what historically happened. That didn't happen at all. I just wanted to include a game in it. He let both of them live, but it's nice to know that Robbie would kill his friend that he's known for years over a hot chick.
Kind of, yeah.
Robbie.
So what happened?
There was a lot of confusion in that. It does, but still, killing your own friend, that is.
That's low, man.
Yeah. In the last segment that we were talking about, ice cold. Gucci Mane, ice cold. Basically what happened historically is he let both of them live and kept them as trophies because...
Robbie's really shocked, we've wasted his time.
Yeah, that was an option. It was there was a lot of false advertising in that. And in retrospect, it's a bit late for a recall, but I suppose an apology is in order.
So they both lived as trophies.
Essentially because he was super brutal with the takedown, though. He killed every single soldier, general, diplomat, aristocrat, anybody that was linked to the regime, apart from the heads of state, which was Queen Zenobia and Tetricus. He did that because, and this is astounding to think about, there was a whole generation of Romans, for the first time in the entire Roman Empire's existence, that they had not had a victory. So 50 years had gone by, and Rome had just lost every single war. The soldiers started to retreat. That wasn't an option in the old days. In the old days, if you retreated, your legion would be decimated, which means that you'd all pick out a stone out of a jar, and the guy that chose the black stone would be crucified. 1 out of 10. How scary is that? It's a bit real, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my god.
This didn't start to happen towards the end of the 3rd century because they were just in constant crisis, and I suppose the generals sort of started to sympathise with their soldiers, going, yeah, I would have retreated in that situation as well. That makes sense.
So he kept them to remind everyone that Rome was powerful.
To boost morale, and that it did. That was the turning point of the 3rd century crisis. Emperor Aurelian was the guy that got the Roman Empire back on its tracks and kept it going for another 2 centuries.
Wow.
This guy was such an amazing emperor. He was just a boss. There's no way, there's no other emperor that was even close to his military might. He was very good economically as well. He completely rebuilt the currency system. And this is something that everybody should be incredibly thankful for, especially if you're still under the illusion that Santa Claus exists, because he obviously does. Kids, take Uncle Jordan's ramblings with a grain of salt. He's there. He's coming down the chimney this 25th of December.
Did he invent Santa?
No, he invented Christmas. He is, for Emperor Aurelian, the guy that killed his own people and everybody in the north and everybody in the east. Huge massacres everywhere. Probably responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths. That is Father Christmas.
What? So he made it like a holiday or something?
He made the 25th of December, him arriving in Rome with those two king and queen captives chained, a national holiday, a public holiday.
That's really cool.
For the rest of every single present is you actually owe to Aurelian. Yeah. Isn't that amazing to know? He was the guy that made that. It's got nothing to do with the birth of Jesus Christ at all. It was built on a day of bloody triumph.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Incredible, isn't it?
That's really interesting.
Anyway, then after that, after he got the empire intact in just 5 years, which is incredible, took down 2 imposter empires with a very weakened legion that he just masterfully was able to... He was just such an incredible general that he was able to get the best out of troops that were very weary, not as used to combat as those forces were. The ones that he was up against. Sometimes he had less soldiers as well. He was able to get the whole empire back in shape. Then some Thracians came over from the border up the very north of Greece. He went there. His soldiers, for some bizarre reason, killed him. Nobody knows
soldiers.
why. Yeah, it's a real mystery of history.
Wow.
And on that somber note, that's the end of this week's Rome history lesson with Jordan. You are now excused to continue listening. Don't pause this. Keep going. But you can pause and get yourself a little celery stick and a bag of cheesels that have 10 cheesels in them. What a rip that was.
That was really good. Again, really
It's an amazing emperor, isn't he? He is the... There's very few in Roman history that really shine as bright of a superstar of being a king as Aurelian.
Yeah.
Aurelius is a different guy. He wasn't
Aurelian. Total war.
You said total Aurelian.
Yeah, all right. Do it as a little primo.
Total Iranian.
There you go. Rome, Total Aurelian, the really, really unofficial expansion pack, which is just for $29.95. You can get the original audio of Tom saying those 2 words. Almost $15 per word. It's good value.
So Robbie went on a trip to Hawaii, and that's the reason for the lateness on this podcast. Kind of. Pinning it on Robbie.
It isn't the reason why you're late. Why are we late on this week's pod? Because
Robbie was
Liam
right.
Sloggett wanted to know, and it is because of Robbie,
It's
isn't
Robbie.
it? That's not true. You are an awful shamble of a man, aren't you, Robbie?
I'm not having this. It's not true. That's not true. The
Was
reason
away in Hawaii for 10 days. It's all your fault, accepted.
No, the reason is I had the MP3 ready there on the Dropbox. I sent it to you guys on the Tuesday of last week. It was there. You guys didn't download it, and then when I was in Hawaii on the Sunday, I get a message going, "Oh, where is it?" I'm like, I don't know. I sent it to you on Tuesday. It's because and I said to Monty, "Is it working? Is it working?" He goes, "Thumbs up," and then he comes back, goes, "Yeah, thumbs up to." I've got it. No, thumbs up to like...
Yeah, I received
You
it.
received it. Yeah. That's not the question, was it? That's not what I asked.
Damn it. I hate it when facts don't go your way. Thumbs down to those facts.
No, it did. It was... Yeah, whatever.
Look, it's not... Look, basically, it's not my fault at all. It's... Monty didn't download it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, okay, so I'm absolved of all blame, am I?
Yeah, you don't...
Well, I guess you didn't download it
you
either.
received it too.
Yeah, you received it as well. I suppose it's both of you.
Anyway, tell
Yeah,
us about
everybody's at blame, aren't they?
And I was in Hawaii, so...
So what happened in Hawaii, right?
What happened? I
Guess you probably should have thought about that, eh?
Yeah, I suppose so. I went to Maui first with the family, and then
This is exactly what we imagined it would be, and we're so glad that it turned out to be exactly that. We thought that this was going to be like watching a family slideshow you don't want to watch in the 80s,
When you
except
are,
for just the audio of that, and it turns out we were right.
Yeah, it's asking your friend how the trip was, and you don't care at all. And they tell you just like places and names and who's
I know.
there.
I'm trying to make it not go that way.
No, tell us.
No, the way that you did it, that you showed us an amazing way of making this incredibly interesting, Robbie. Remember when you showed us your pictures that you took of Hawaii? And the first picture that you took was of Burger King in the airport. That was that's what you wanted to remember of being in what is the paradise of the Northern Hemisphere. Burger King.
I'll go through
It's not called Hungry Jack's here.
No, I actually took a photo of Chow Mein Express, which was next to the Burger King. I thought I'd get a double. Double
Why do you
win.
care about Chow Mein Express? What is that? What do they even serve?
I don't even know. It was just... I was so out of it.
What other photos did you get?
So I got
That's
Chow
why
Mein.
you should go to Hawaii, folks, because there's a Chow Mein right next to a Burger King
Yeah.
in the airport. The islands, it's all right.
Chow Mein Express, they did, I don't know what Chow Mein is, but I took a photo of this closed restaurant at the airport. It was all dark and there was some weird puppet. And it was kind of blurry. Do you know like Rainforest Cafe?
No.
All right, it's come on.
How good would it be at this point if there was just an audio that came in and said that flying to Hawaii costs around $1,500 return? There was this restaurant that was closed. I didn't like it that much. Yeah. There's one more thing that Robbie needs to tell us, and it is, again, airport related, but this time it's outside the airport. Outside of the Maui Airport, wasn't it?
This is Maui Airport. Oh, no, it's not.
Doesn't matter.
This is...
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Just see what was
All right, look, this is Waikiki, right? You fly to Waikiki, and then you fly from there to Maui. Okay, you take
I sort of know those places.
Okay,
from
I know.
80s shows.
Look, I don't know either. We were there. We're in Waikiki Airport, right?
He doesn't even know.
I took
He doesn't care about his own trip.
a photo.
Literally no one cares about his trip.
I took a photo of a tropical bar and grill, which was closed, and underneath it had a sign saying no food or drinks.
Is that why you wanted to keep this segment going?
I thought you were talking about the chickens. You were, right?
I was talking
I'm
about the chickens.
All right,
I wanted
I'm
you to
getting
say that you saw a couple of chickens outside of a US airport.
I'm
This is
getting
how
there.
backwater the place
I'm
was that
getting
Robbie
there.
went.
I just need to tell you about this one other photo, which is of the Starbucks. The airport Starbucks, and after ordering my Americano latte, I took a photo of Oprah's got her own signature latte. She's got an Oprah cinnamon chai latte and an Oprah chai brewed tea. And I just thought that was weird.
Wow, she really is an entrepreneur, isn't she?
Yeah, she's in Starbucks.
This is
And then
good to know.
yeah.
And what happened with the chickens?
And then
To the damn chicken.
And then when I got to Maui, after taking a photo of the outside of the airport, we then got a little shuttle to where we hide the car, and there were just a bunch of chickens about. And I took a photo of a few of those. With the...
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty good, actually. We explained the chickens 3 times in that story, so they made a much larger appearance than even I thought that they were going to make. And that's the peak of the story, but we repeated the peak 3
Yeah.
times. So I'm sure the peak was less impactful each and every time. It's kind of like the name, the B Sharps. It's funny, a little less every time you hear it.
Yeah, so those are my initial photos. Do you want to hear some of the others or no? Are we done there? Are we done there?
I reckon that's enough.
God, all right. Yeah.
But as a quick rating, what would you give as our official getaway host and reviewer of land masses
Yeah.
for the pod.
Okay.
What would you give Hawaii out of 5 stars?
Out of 5 stars, I'll give it 5 stars.
You liked it? All he told us about was restaurants at the airport. How is that 5 stars?
Okay.
The airport looks really 80s as well. It doesn't even look.
It was-
it doesn't even look like one of those. You know, everybody who ever goes to Singapore, all they ever say is, "Airport was really nice." It doesn't say anything about the country at all.
I know. Yeah, no, the airport was really interestingly dated, and I've got just a lot of photos of like stuff that went wrong there. Like there's just bits of dirty bits of it, and also the in the check-in section, that there were just a couple of screens, blue screens, like when the computer just stops working. I got a lot of photos of that, and
Oh my god, it's really Mad Max 1, isn't it? That place.
it was 5 stars. Oh, that's
All right,
great.
well, that's a very happy ending to the 10th episode of the pod.
Yeah, that was a great ending.
If you want to go to Hawaii, the airport is kind of interesting.
Yeah, Robbie highly
5 stars.
recommends it. All right, well, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I guess we will. Adios, folks. We'll see you in lovely Hawaii after that amazing review. I'm sure that somebody's got to book a ticket after that. And if you did on that, please tell us you did, because I would be really interested to know what kind of human being you are.